Hello everybody, Sneaky Chiefy here bringing you another TAW video. This is a tournament video from our member King, who's playing in teal as the Turks. One of my recent favorite civs. I have just discovered the powers of the Turks around the 1000 1v1 ELO level, and I've been enjoying playing with them. King is faced off against Hannes? I'll just call him Hans. The Ethiopians in blue, and they're playing on Arabia. The tournament is called SuperLeAGE 3, so I think it's the third season in a row that SuperLeAGE has had this 1v1 style tournament. SuperLeAGE is put on by caster Ramon. He's a Spanish language caster, so I'll do my best Spanish accent there. I'll put his details, the Twitch channel and the Discord channel, in the video description in case you're interested in signing up for some of SuperLeAGE's tournaments. There is a prize pool, and as you can tell, it's a 1v1 tournament that I am featuring with our TAW Member King here. An interesting note about this is that it's a reverse draft system. So you pick your opponent's civilizations that they must play with. So Hans picked Turks for King to play as. King picked the Ethiopians to play as, and I'm going to try not to get insulted because these are probably my two go-to civs right now. Ethiopians is one of my favorite archer civs, and the Turks are especially powerful these days now that they've been buffed up a bit. So apparently they're not favorites of other players as they're being thrust upon their opponents, but I still like the Ethiopians very much. Faster firing archers, and the Turks getting that free upgrade on the cavalry line, or scout cavalry line, come into play at of each of the early ages. But we shall see if Janissaries come into play here on Arabia or not. It's a best of 3 as I understand it, so will be a potential of 3 games between the two. I do not know the outcome, so we're all going to experience this together today, and I appreciate you tuning in. I've also never casted a King game before, so I haven't played with King either. Might be a newer member of the TAW, or I've just have not come across him yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing him play in this series, and hopefully he'll win this one and play many more and get that prize pool from SuperLeAGE. But we'll have to see what happens, as the first Rhino is brought in by King with no issues, and Elephant is brought in by the opponent Hans with no issues on that side. Bills are 13-13. I love this color scheme, blue versus teal. Some of also my favorite colors. Go Sharks in teal. Taking a look at the maps, there's some exposed gold for Hans in the front, but in general it seems fairly wallable between these wood lines. And he's got some, well, all his golds are rather exposed, so that could be an exploit for King to take advantage of. His berries and stone are pretty safe in the back. He also has some safe hunt back there if he wants it. On the other side, wide open here on this flank, and exposed gold and stone. Both stones are exposed for King, though he does have some nice long wood lines to work with on one side. But we do have this huge gap here, which is going to be tricky. We'll see how he plays that one as he brings in his elephant. So I'd say I prefer blue. They're also fairly close together. If you take a look at the mini-map in the bottom, or I zoom out, quite a lot of open space down here for the taking. And we'll have to see if those players are going to take advantage of that. You can even see King is scouting down here looking for his opponent. And we'll take a look at what he can see. And see where he sent his scout. He sent his scout directly across, anticipating to find the opponent. He hasn't, and he won't until he starts coming up over this way. So we'll see. Definitely going to throw players off a bit. That's the thing about Arabia, is sometimes you get these wonky TC placements, and it's tough to wall off. I mean, the good news is this huge exposed flank from King is not the flank that's closest to the opponent, though it would be easy to come around for blue to come around there. So we'll see if blue had spawned in a traditional spawn. The TC, this would have been a bigger issue, the exposed flank. The second lumber camp is coming in for the Turks. The Turks are, I mentioned the cavalry, I mentioned the Janissaries, very strong unit, but they also have very good, well, I wouldn't say very good, but they have strong cavalry archers. They have the full tech tree for them. Nothing special about their cavalry archers as I understand it. They're not cheaper like the Huns. They don't fire faster or run faster or anything like that, but they're passable, as King maybe messed up on the sheep rotation there and killing more sheep than maybe he wanted. But he will be the first to feudal age, as feudal age is coming in for both players. And let's take a look at King has spotted that TC. I think he lost his scout to that TC, so I missed that action there. This is the body, the decaying scout body there. So, well, at least he found it. Lost the scout in the process. Blue must have lost his scout too, and there's the scout's body for blue. So I missed both actions on that part. But both players know where the other is, and both players no longer have their scouts, so I'd call it a fairly even matchup at this point. I should say that this is the Iron Division of Super League, so there's various divisions, as you can imagine. I'm not sure where Iron Division fits in. I'm thinking through the ages, I'd say it's low to middle division, if we're going like Bronze Age, Iron Age, and things like that. So maybe mid. I'm not sure how many there are. I should do a little bit more research on that before casting games, but lesson learned. Barracks going down and a stable. Not too surprising. For King, it looks like Blue is not going to wall off. He's going to go for the quick walls around his resources, or I should say small walls around his resources. And he's already prepped those to keep those wood choppers safe. He'll keep with one lumber camp. He's got 8 choppers on there. And we'll see what he does with his wood villagers now. He's got 2 on gold. Fairly standard archer start, if I'd say. He's definitely anticipating cavalry. Scouts, probably. So he's got spearmen out already. And here come the scouts from King. King doing a good job walling with the necessary buildings. I haven't seen any palisades yet. The real question is how he deals with all this here. And that exposed gold is going to be a problem, as he's already walled out 1. This main gold is very exposed. Here come the cavalry. So 3 spearmen on the field and an archery range coming down for the Ethiopian player. He's doing a bit of a tighter formation with his houses and production buildings. King on the prowl with these scouts. But there's spearmen on patrol to cover the berries. And I think Blue is fairly safe at the moment. I'm not sure what the scouts can do, but we'll have to find out. And that's it for the production for Blue. Just 3 scouts and 3 spearmen squared off here. Bid axe coming in for both players. Both players at 26 pop. It's basically a mirror match on eco at the moment. The question is this early military micro. Spearman has been activated and got 1 hit in. And you can see the power of those spearmen really damaged that scout HP. So I'm afraid for King that he will not be able to find any easy pickings. These villagers and this formation of buildings is tight like a toiga. Though he does have 4 scouts out now, so who knows, maybe he distracts on one end and snipes a bill from the gold pile on the other. We'll have to find out. At the very least, he can cause some idle time. And Blue sending forward a spearman of his own to see what is what. I don't know what, I don't anticipate him doing much damage there. But Teal can get creative. Oh, and some archers forward too. That's more like it. Teal can get creative with his cavalry though. With 4 of them, you can split them into 2 groups of 2 and attack 2 sections of the eco together. He does get a hit in, but a quick reaction from both players. Great job from Teal to avoid getting hit by that TC fire. Good job by Blue to get those villagers in the TC. Now the spearmen are activated and exposing some berry villagers. So we shall see. I'm not sure which side to stay on at the moment. I'm thinking if any kills happen, it'll be with the scouts. There's only 2 archers and they're sitting back for now. Another hit by the spearman on that weak scout. 1 more and he's down. Oh, they're pouncing. They're going to get 1 vill kill at least. Nope, they retreat. And Blue is doing a great job of focusing attention on that wounded scout. Good micro from Blue, but Teal is causing idle time. He's distracting his opponent. And they take that engagement. So now it's only 2 spearmen and 2 weak scouts. And now we have some exposed villagers for gold. Is he chopping through the... This girl just dropped wood off through the wall. Huh, well there you go. We'll watch it again, just so you know that I'm not crazy. These archers are still sitting back and the scouts are retreating, so we might as well take a look. Bloop! There you go. Now you know, folks. This is good awareness by King, seeing that he can't do much damage, so instead he looks for the exposed army. He could pick off these archers if he sees it. He doesn't. The spearmen being annoying here on the wood line, and the archers will sit on the other side. But that will alert King to what's up on his opponent's army. And that spearman won't do much. The real damage will be done by the archers, if any. But now all blue's army's forward, so there's nothing back. Though he did this, I like this side wall here, so while he's kind of walled himself off of that wood line, he is securing his base rather nicely as he puts more on gold. That's a lot of archers. And gold mining coming in as well. So we'll see a little bit longer of a feudal age here. 36 population for both. Idle TC is identical at only 36 seconds, which is amazing. And here's the big wall that I was anticipating. I mean, it's ambitious. That's a lot of wall. But what else can you do? I mean, you could make it a little closer by doing it here instead of out here. But yeah, it's a tough call either way. That's a lot of wall no matter how you think about it. Another stable coming down for the Turk player as he's clicked. Both are clicked into the Castle Age at about the same time. What are these boys, twins? This is pretty impressive from them. Advantage in army numbers are with blue at the moment. The vills are identical at 36. So hard to say whose eco is stronger, though there's more on gold for blue. It will really be about if blue can cause any vill damage, and he might get a few hits here. These archers do have fletching. These scouts don't have... Oh no, they do have some military upgrades. They got scale barding armor, but they're going to pick off a reinforcement straggler there. 8 scouts is no joke. I don't think that they have... Yeah, they don't have bloodlines yet. Forging coming in, as is horse collar for teal. Blue will be slightly faster to Castle Age. I like this decision by teal to realize that blue's army is all forward, so he has a chance to raid. There's only archers in defense, but quite a lot of them. And now these are pikemen with the Ethiopian free upgrade to pikemen. And they'll get 1 vill kill. So the first vill kill of the day goes to teal. Well done. These are automatically upgraded to light cavalry though, so if King can snipe a few archers before they've turned to crossbowmen, as we see scale barding armor coming in, or chain barding armor. Oh, good quick wall. You might want to take this fight, King. Oh, he loses his 2 weak vills. Those are the first deaths for King. Well, I guess they lost their scouts earlier. Now we have crossbowmen on the field with pikemen. And more scouts coming in, more, I should say, light cav coming in for the Turkish player. I think King will be okay with that. Well, it wasn't the most effective raid. It did get a vill out. He lost 2 light cav in the process, but he did kill a vill. And so now has the 1 vill advantage, as the idle TC time is a minute for blue and only 50 seconds for teal. The pikemen are nowhere to be found though, so it's just archers against light cav. These light cav are fairly beefed up on the defense with chain barding. No bloodlines yet though. We see handcart coming in already. Okay, interesting. No one on stone. Okay, we got 1 on stone for the Turk player. Stone walls would be very helpful here. That's a lot. That's 17 crossbows. No joke. And they have bodkin arrow already. They don't have ballistics yet though, but bodkin arrow is about all you need at this point. On the other end, it's pikemen against light cav. But they've swarmed, and they should be able to get in here. Okay, so both players pushing forward. That's another vill killed for teal, as the second town center will just barely go up in time. But he will lose this 3rd villager. And I like teal's position better, though blue just does break in. It's a lot of crossbows. Lots to look at here. A lot of exposed villagers, though. And just a few pikemen to defend. Both sides losing villagers. Okay, teal's got a mangonel out. It's a shame that with the forward siege workshop that was placed. Let's see what this mangonel can do. I wonder if you mix in a few knights for defense. Keep a look at the Vil count right now. It's 38 to 42 in Teal's favor. He's lost a few crossbows so far. It's only 14 out there now, but Teal's lost a few Vils too. Teal's on 1 TC, as Blue is on 2, but he's attacking the lumber camp right now instead of the villagers. That's a misclick. The Mangonel gets 1 shot in, gets another good shot in. Oh, this is horrible for Blue. All this could have been dead villagers. That could have been 5 dead villagers. Instead, it was just hits on his lumber camp. That's so unfortunate. Attack ground misses. That Mangonel goes down, but the light cav do the work, and that crossbow army will be taken out, as will the scouts. But the damage is done at 44, actually 44 to 44. So despite losing more Vils in that raid, Blue got the 2 TCs going and has kept the villager count even. So we're all evened up with about 8 to 8 in military and 45 to 45 in Vils. Super close game with raids on both sides. Loving it so far. Though I think Teal's position's a bit better with this Forward Siege Workshop down already. And I'm gonna like the Turkish composition better too. And the point is, like, you want to keep your crossbowmen alive. Losing 17 crossbowmen is worse than losing 8 scout cavalry. I think about the gold cost, right? So Teal lost his gold miners here, but he hasn't. Oh, he's got more over here. He doesn't need as many on gold, which means he can put more on food. As the scout cavalry breaks in on an overchop, which is huge. I don't think they got any Vils there, but that's more idle time for wood, and that's basically the only wood line. He'll need to abandon it and go to this one. So if you think about what the Ethiopians need to do well, it's wood and gold. And if you think about what the Turks need to do, what to harvest to do well, is really just food, except when you're making mangonels. So that's where the gold is being spent for King, is on mangonels, and the food is only for the light cav. So it's pretty good army composition, I'd say. Mangonel and light cav. As more Vils are being picked off. The mobility of the light cav is so effective here, and the mangonel on the hill is just going to be taking out buildings basically, and occasional groups of archers. That's the thing about Ethiopians though, they do have camels, which is a big benefit for them, but these aren't going to be very upgraded. There's no upgrades on the pikemen or the camels, so that's a bit of a weakness because you can't spend all that food and gold on those upgrades as readily as you'd like. It's tough. I mean, if it goes late game, I'd probably favor the Turks. They both get bombard cannon. The Ethiopian blast damage is better, but I can't remember the name of the tech. Not rocketry, but the Turkish have a tech where they make it ballistics applied to gunpowder units. So ballistics applying to, as we see these mangonels go down. Great job by Hans for that, but he'll lose all his archers for it, for his efforts. Mangonels for crossbowmen go down. Yeah, the Turks get a tech which make ballistics apply to bombard cannon shots, and those are deadly accurate. The Ethiopian tech for increased splash damage is similar. You don't need to land direct hits to cause damage. But so yeah, they're similar techs. Though, and I think it's one of the most expensive techs in the game, the Ethiopian tech. Let's just jump over to the main game and take a look, shall we? So I get these correct. I should know these off the top of my head. Torsion engines increases the blast radius of the siege workshop. Let's take a look at how much it costs. I'm just going to pause the game while we do this too. Now I'm just curious. Two of my favorite civs and I don't know all the details. It's shameful, really. Torsion engines, Imperial Age tech. 1,000 food, 600 gold. So yeah, pretty steep. Not the most expensive, but fairly steep. And let's take a look at what King has working for him in the castle. Artillery, it's called. Fancy name, of course. Hard to forget artillery. It adds range. Oh, I thought it meant gunpowder units get ballistics applied to gunpowder units, but it's only 450 stone and 500 gold. So a cheaper tech. So I mean, increased range to bombard cannons is probably more valuable than extra splash damage. especially if you're playing against what will mostly be scout cavalry. Torsion engines won't be as effective as, say, if you're going up a bunch of skirmishers, for example. Um, Artillery will be more handy. Having that extra 2 range is fairly important, I'd say. But back to the action, shall we? Camels on the field for the Turkish player as well, instead of knights. That makes sense. Putting knights out, camels are a direct counter. Put camels of your own, and these are upgraded camels, so camel v camel, and there's certainly more cavalry for teal than there is for blue at the moment. This is good. If you're forcing the Ethiopian player to make more camels and tech into this camel tech, you're doing something right, because that's where the Ethiopians get scary, is their fire rate of their archers. And there's no archers on the field right now. In fact, there's only 1 range and 2 stables. So teal's definitely got blue on the back foot as he adds a few scorpions in the mix too, which is a good choice, but you got to keep them alive. And Hans calls it. He says, you know what? I've been knocked off my game. You have about a 1,000-point lead, and I'm on the back foot. And if we look back here, teal is on 3 TCs, had been unharassed at home for a while. Blue has been knocked off his main wood line, feeling a bit trapped perhaps. I'd say this is a bit early to resign, but it would have been, he would have had to pull off something pretty fantastic to win this game. Hans would have. Still, very fun to watch. I like how Hans played. He maybe lost a bit aggressive with this 17 crossbowmen. Like I don't know how many he killed. I would guess maybe no more than 5. 3 or 4 probably villagers killed by this one raid, and he lost 17 crossbowmen for it. It could have been 9 villagers killed though. He had 5 woodchoppers here waiting to get picked off, and he accidentally clicked on the lumber camp instead, and I saw 6 or 7 Ethiopian volleys going into that lumber camp instead of the villagers before they got wiped out. So it's little things like that that maybe Blue would look back on and think I could have done better. But all in all, I liked his game. I liked how he walled up, and I loved his early defense with the spearmen. He kept the raid damage to a minimum, at least until the Castle Age. But obviously teal was the better player. Turks are the better civ probably in this matchup, though it's tough to tell. And we'll go to game 2. I hope you will join me for that one. For now, this is Sneaky Chiefy casting SuperLeAGE Iron Division. Game 1 between TAW Member King and Hans. Signing out.